Hi, I'm Jessie Ammett, your host of Valley News Now, and I have two incredible guests with me today, Emily Brooks and Renee Renardi. And I've got some titles, I'm going to read them off. And so you guys are very active in American Mothers Incorporated. Emily, you're the Area 2 coordinator? Or former?
So former Area 2 coordinator.
Okay, why don't you tell me what you are? There we go.
So I've served on the board of directors for American Mothers as Area 2 coordinator, and I'm currently serving as Golden Rule chairperson.
Ooh, awesome. That sounds kind of amazing. And I do know you were Mother of the Year 2018?
2018.
All right, and
For North Dakota.
2019?
Yes.
For North Dakota and national.
That's correct.
Whoa, we are in the presence of greatness. So tell me, you have had some really cool experiences lately. So where do you want to start?
Well, we were just at convention this last weekend, so
Nice.
it's fun to kind of reflect on some of the really cool experiences that we had at the United Nations in March.
I mean, that's incredible to me. When you told me we go to the United Nations and we act as delegates, it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, explain that.
So American Mothers has a long history with attending the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. And this year was the 67th CSW, and we applied for a chance to give a panel discussion. We submitted an idea, and it was accepted.
Yay. So you guys did this. You went there and you did this panel discussion. I'm going to just pull up the little graphic here. All right, excuse me if this goes to some random Facebook pictures of myself.
Yeah, so it was former AMI President Canel Brannon that was the one who did the submission on behalf of American Mothers, and it was Navigating Motherhood in the Digital
we
Age.
go.
Yeah, and so she moderated the panel, and then
Nice.
Dr. Renee Renardi and I were on the panel along with Kim Hoy Stevenson.
And I see that is a very highly attended session. How cool is that?
That was very exciting.
Very cool. Okay, let's get to the page that shows all of your panelists. Here we are. Yeah, so there you guys all are. And so tell me about what that means. You're navigating motherhood in the digital age, obviously a big topic for all of us mothers, and even, teachers, everybody that has any interaction with youth. We get kind of overwhelmed, I think, and concerned about all the apps and all the stuff, and you hear AI and you hear this and you get nervous. So tell us, wise ones.
Well, I think there's a lot of information out there, and as parents, we're never going to be able to keep up on all of the security features, all the things that we need to do to protect our children online.
It's actually nice to hear you say that. Like, it's okay. Like, you can't. There's too much information out there. So what do we do?
Too much. But there are things that we can do.
Okay.
So, and it has to be a group effort. So, as parents, it's really important to understand and to not rely upon our children to self-regulate or to make
Right.
good choices. Their brains are not completely developed yet. So
We know that, but yet at times we kind of expect it.
we
you
have
know?
high expectations
We
for our
do.
children,
Yeah.
and we know, as psychologists and people who research this, we know that screen time has an impact on what's called executive functioning in children.
Okay.
So this is planning, organizing, decision making, are all impaired by excessive use of screens.
Wow.
So that for them to be able to self-regulate is an unrealistic expectation when our child is over-consuming in the first place. American Academy of Pediatrics says no more than 2 hours a day. Even an hour and a half of screen time is found to be detrimental. The average teenager is a little over 7 hours. Since the pandemic, there's some studies that show up to 10 hours of using screens as entertainment. So
This is not education, just entertainment.
that's right. That's right. So, and to look at the information that's out there and the impact that that has. And our work at the UN was specific to the impact of digital information on women and girls, but it affects everyone. So,
does,
and
yeah.
being aware of that, and certainly the impact on mental health is kind of what I brought to the panel, and
Yes.
something that I continue to talk about and that I spoke at convention this past weekend. To know that there's increased anxiety, depression, decreased creativity, decreased tolerance for boredom, all of these things, and the list goes on. Now, there can be advantages to the use of technology and to improve access and education, to use it as a way for people to access resources when they are struggling, or they're in a domestic violence situation or something that they need help, to be able to use it in positive ways. But unfortunately, the research really shows much more disadvantage than advantage to a lot of people. So, and that can change, and it does have to be a group effort between parents, children and adolescents, government, and the organizations that develop these online platforms.
Definitely.
And to have default settings to be the most private settings rather than the least private settings. So regarding geolocation and things along those lines. So there was legislation passed in California that requires developers of these different online platforms to change their default settings to more privacy.
That's incredible. I mean, just that alone, like you said, the default settings, because I mean, how many of us are a little scared to, how do I change that setting? You know? And it's, in the same breath, I'll say, it isn't that hard. We all can learn it too. You just have to, you know, just have to do it. But to have those default settings in those ways so that it keeps our kids safe. And the, you know, the things that regulate too, like you know, some of the apps where you can limit the time and different things like that. How do you guys feel about using those? Do you have any specific ones that you would recommend?
That can be really helpful to have some of those resources to utilize. As a parent, in my own personal experience, I've really tried to have a lot of open-ended conversations with my kids about digital technology use and finding balance between technology and then let's have some creative experiences and not be on our digital devices. And being able to kind of know when it's appropriate to kind of step away from that. And so one thing I've told my kids is it's time to visit nature. If I think they've been on their devices a little bit too much, and then they kind of go, oh yeah, I guess it's probably time to do something different.
Yes, time to do something different.
It's not that I'm opposed to digital technology, because it's very much a part of all of our daily lives, but being able to self-regulate and use it in a balanced way with their social life and their educational responsibilities. And so that's been a really big thing that I focused on with my kids. One thing we do every day is to have a dinner time together.
Nice.
And devices aren't allowed at the table. It's just our chance to talk directly to one another. We're all busy doing our different things, but by not incorporating digital technology into our mealtime, we're really able to focus on each other and give each other full attention.
Yes, full, you know, so my kids have gotten bigger now. They're 23, 21, and 18. And they are actually the ones that are like, Mom, put the phone down. Like, because they really value that, you know, face-to-face time as well. And so you feel really like caught when your kid tells you, Mom, are you focusing on me? Put the phone down right now. So it's important for all of us to learn those things. Oh, I had a question, but I can't remember what it was. All right, next, whatever,
And
go
you
ahead.
bring up a good point, too, that it's so easy to get swept away, you know, even as adults, right? With our brain being fully developed, it's still difficult to self-regulate.
It is.
It's easy to get swept away that, oh, real quick, I'm going to check this out. And an hour and a half later,
because you go, I'm going to text.
It's easy to
get pulled in.
And you've got a notification, and then you go down a TikTok rabbit hole.
Absolutely. So it's good to know that about ourselves, and as parents, to do our best to be good digital role models, and to be able to access information with intention. So that if I'm picking up my phone in front of my daughter, I want to say, oh, I'm going on Facebook right now to wish my friend a happy birthday. Or actually, it's my mother's birthday today. I wished her a happy birthday.
Happy
What's her
birthday.
name? Simone.
Simone. Happy birthday, Simone.
And so, but I do that with intention. So I get the mission accomplished, and I'm out.
Yes, that helps you too stay
absolutely.
focused.
It helps to approach things with intention, to have structured family time like that, where our children have the opportunity at whatever age to experience that connection. We need it too.
Oh, yes.
And to develop those social skills. Children understand under the age of 3 should not be exposed to devices at all.
Okay.
And
That's
so
good to know too, because I think it's real easy. You know, I get it. I understand. It's easy to do that, but that's a good recommendation to know. Just
Absolutely.
nothing till 3.
But when we're giving children devices to be good at the table at a restaurant or things like that, they're not learning those skills on how to behave and how to act appropriately when you are at a restaurant. They're missing out on those experiences.
Yep.
And so they're also missing out on the ability to regulate uncomfortable emotions. That takes practice.
Wow, that's true.
So it's not using screens and things like that as a way to regulate, but to actually practice those skills.
That's good
practice
for us
uncomfortable
too.
emotions.
You know, I think
Absolutely.
when you are in an uncomfortable spot, how many of us do pick up our phone? You know, it's an awkward silence or whatever it is. You might just pick up your phone because it kind of helps relieve that, but that's really just a pacifier, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's okay to be bored. It's
Yes.
okay to, you know,
Wait a
and
minute.
actually to
Be a
feel
good thing.
uncomfortable.
It's okay to be bored. But it's true.
A lot of
will
creativity
survive
comes
it.
from boredom.
Yes.
And conversation and opportunities and observing our environment around us, paying attention to our own internal experience as well. So screens are really robbing us as adults, as children,
Right.
as teenagers of, you know, all of this information and experience around us.
That's so true. That's a lot. You said a lot right there. Really, you know, that all of us using that is kind of giving me a light bulb moment of, you know, we need to experience those uncomfortable emotions. We need to work through those feelings, and rather than just sitting side by side and like scrolling, maybe we have a conversation about whatever that thing is that's kind of stressing us out.
The other panelist in our discussion runs a program at a school for mentorship.
Oh, neat.
And so it's Kim Hoy Stevenson.
Okay.
And she talked about when they have their mentorship time together, one of the rules is they aren't using technology. This is their time together to focus on one another. And that hasn't necessarily been something that the children have been opposed to. They've been pretty okay with that. And
That's
it's been a
surprising,
really
too.
successful program for her.
That's awesome to hear, you know, because I think we also think, oh, they're never going to go for that. But they want to see our faces too and connect. Let's look through some of these pictures. It looks like you had a lot of fun. We'll switch over here. All right. Oh, of course, every time I do that. But okay. All right. Tell me about this picture.
So this was right before one of the big events where each country gets 3 minutes to present their findings.
Oh, wow.
And so these are women from all over the world that we had a chance to interact with and talk to before the event began.
Oh, how
and
cool.
It's such a treat to get a
It's gotta
chance
be.
to, you know, say, where are you from? And tell me what you're most focused on learning when you're here, and what have you learned so far from all of the different discussions that you've
Yes.
attended. So that's one of the really magical things about this event is it's such an amazing way to get a perspective from women from all over the world.
That is so cool. Just those different perspectives are always so great. Wow, I'm struggling. Here we go.
You're
Whoop,
doing
here we go
great.
again. Okay, and this is from the same event.
Yes. So this is right on the United Nations grounds, right
wow.
outside the entrance.
That is so great. And inside.
Yeah. And so these are right next to me is Kim Hoy Stevenson, and then next to Renee is Jen O'Brien, and she works with special hockey.
Awesome. You know what? And I am realizing the time here. I've kept you guys very, very long. So I need to let you get back to your jobs. You teach, and of course you.
Being a psychologist.
Yes, I'm like you, psychologist, you doctor. Anyway, very important stuff. Thank you so much for being here, and I'd love to
Thank
talk to you
you,
again
Jessie.
anytime because we've got a million more things that we could talk about. But that is great. Thank you again so much for being on.
Thank you for having us.